Life lessons from your old buddy Josh. I was listening to my man Finn McKenty today from the Punk Rock MBA, and I like Finn. I would consider him a friend. If I ever saw him in a bar in Seattle, I'd tell him to buy me a pint of alcohol-free Guinness. But anyway, no, he was talking about life lessons, and he was saying it's very interesting how when he was basically a young man, he dropped out of college, and he lived in Cleveland, and he was working like Office Max, and all he wanted to do was go to hardcore shows and collect albums. That's all he wanted to do. And then and he had friends who were back in, I think he's from Columbus or something like that, or Cincinnati. Anyways, friends from someplace in Ohio who were like halfway through college and stuff like that. I'm sure he had other friends who went in the military. And like 2 years later, Finn is like 21 now or something like that. He's like, yeah, I'm still working at Office Max and going to hardcore shows and collecting albums. These guys are like getting on with their lives. You know what I'm saying? He goes, all of a sudden I said, I need a change because it sounds cool when you're like a teen, but as you start getting your 20s, like, and it just reminded me of me, man, because when I got out of high school, I was just such a freaking clown in high school. But young men are just clowns just by nature. We just are. We don't know what the hell we don't know. We don't know what we want. We don't know anything. And that's why the military is so big for a young man. And I would even say college to some degree for young men too, because it gives them that sense of accomplishment. Graduating high school isn't really much of a sense of accomplishment today. I mean, maybe 100 years ago, but today it's just not. Graduating college isn't really as much, but that's 4 years of a young man's life. So basically from 18 to 22 or 19 to 23 or something like that, a young man is going to school, and he might not be crushing, but he's getting it done. He's getting the job done, and he graduates with a degree. It doesn't mean he's smart, but it does mean he followed through, man. He followed through on this task, and he got it done. And and I frankly, that for me, that wasn't nearly the sense of accomplishment of getting out of the Army, safely with an honorable discharge. But I can see how it would be for my son or something like that if he were to go to college, because he's not. My kids aren't my boys. My girls are good students. My boys, they lackluster. They're good, but not the same as my daughters. And having all that thrown at you as a young man, 18 years old, you're on your own. I mean, think about it. An 18-year-old kid on his own for the first time. He's still immature. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's a big deal to graduate college. It really is. Even you're like, oh, but college isn't worth anything. And I get all that. It's freaking completely reverse Robin Hood. But you got it done. You didn't drop out. You didn't fail out. You didn't freaking shoot heroin in your toes and just hang out at the freaking local punk rock shows. You actually completed something. That's a big deal. That's a sense of accomplishment. That's what I think young men need. They need to have some kind of sense of accomplishment, because the difference between going to college and being in the Army is the Army is very regimented. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you get time off, but you got to be back. You got formation. You can't have girls in the dorm. I don't know if they can anymore. It's a whole different, but you're not. In fact, in the infantry, there's no girls. At least I don't think there is. Maybe there is now. I don't know. I hope not. But back then, there's it's like you were very limited on your time consumption of what you could do. And for a young man, that's kind of important, especially a young man like me who's just a cluster fark. But for let's say just my kids, dude, it's even harder in a lot of ways because they are free to do whatever the hell they want to do. You see what I'm saying? They drink beer, they freaking smoke dope, they don't have to go to school, and no one will know. And until it's basically too late. And so I'm not saying I gotta go to college necessarily or go in the Army, but you need that. I'm telling you, man, having a sense of accomplishment is so critically important, because it just says, hey, I can do, if I can do this, there's not much I can't do. You know what I'm saying? Like when I got out of the Army, it's like, wait a second. I mean, anytime I doubted myself, I said, man, I was in the infantry. I'm still a turd sandwich, but if I can do that, I can, like these horses. I could ride a horse if I needed to. I could learn how to do it. I absolutely don't want to. Look at those. See those horses? Nay! Let me see that. Listen. Nay! Does he pull his head up? Nay! Oh, man. He can't pull his head up. Horsies. Don't we have any sense of humor? You got some on that side. Milton, Georgia, where I live. Oh, yeah. I smell the grass, dude. I freaking love spring. Can you all smell that? Fresh cut grass. Oh, dude, I love the spring. People would get in the gardens going. Smelling the, smells like the manure over here. No, it's just, no, it's not manure. No, it's not manure. It's, you know, hay. That's what it smells like. Reminds me of the Freiburg Fair up in Maine. Anyway, so Milton, Georgia is horse country. A part of horse country for North Georgia. Oh, man, it's good to be alive. But anyway, that sense of accomplishment. What's your, I'd love to hear your sense of accomplishment. And I'm not just for young men, for girls. I don't know what a girl goes through. You know what I'm saying? I just know a girl's a lot more mature than a boy at the same age. That's why most men, not most, but many men marry younger because they're just not as, their maturity level is the same as a girl who's 2 or 3 or 4 years younger. That's just a fact. Now, maybe when you're 35, it's not the case, but, well, for me it is. I'm 53. My wife's 49. I'm still 4 years more immature than she is. I was talking to this guy today, old Beardsley. I did a video about it on the other channel. And Beardsley, it's crazy. I mean, you just open up, Josh. That's what we love you because you're so authentic. I said, yeah, I don't have any guardrails or whatever it is. Drives my wife crazy. She goes, do you have to tell everybody everything? I said, yeah, I kind of do. I don't have any governors. She goes, yeah, well, let's maybe back up on that. Maybe you don't have to tell people like when you had an accident when you're driving to the airport in Boston from New Hampshire, and you thought you had a. Let's just put it this way. You rolled snake eyes. That's what a friend of mine in high school used to say. You rolled snake eyes. It was in the Army. I think it might have been the Army. Yeah, you thought you were rolling double of sixes and you rolled snake eyes on 95 in New Hampshire, and that's not good. All right, we'll see you guys. Love to hear your sense of accomplishment. God bless.